My name is Henry Brander, and I'm from Alberta, Canada. I reside for 5 months a year at ORI in Indio, which is Outdoor Resorts Indio. We've been here now for about 4 years. The reason why we chose this particular park is because of its size. It's not a really large park, 419 spots on 63 acres, lots of things to do, lots of golfing, reasonably priced HOA fees, things like that. The reason why we actually did the coach route in the first place was because we wanted to go and see some of the rest of our country, Canada, and also our neighbors, the United States. So we decided to purchase a coach. So the next thing was, what coach do we select? How big should it be? And these kinds of things. Finally decided on a Tiffin product. And then the next thing that we had to do was find out where we could get the best price and the best service. So what we did was, after doing some research, we actually ended up in Bend, Oregon, and ended up with Beaver Coach Sales. We traveled from Canada to get there, and when we got there, we were very impressed with them, and so we ended up buying a coach from them and took it back to Canada. We hear lots of problems about that people have with a brand new coach and all of this, and that's because the dealer still has lots and lots to do on these coaches when they get them before the consumer gets them. But nevertheless, we got all the bugs worked out, the awnings worked, the blinds work, the plumbing works, everything works, and so we couldn't be more happy with the selection that we made, and we're so happy with the selection of park that we ended up staying in, and of course the weather, there's so much to do here, and so we just couldn't be happier than we are right now. The park that we decided to stay in here has got lots of facilities in it, such as a 3-par golf course in it. It's got restaurant. It's got pickleball and tennis and all sorts of crafts, swimming pools. I think there's 3 pools in this place, plus an additional big main one. And so there's lots of, aqua size and those kinds of things. My main interest, of course, is golf, and I golf just about every day. And when you get to know these people, because the park is a little bit smaller than some of these parks, you get to know everybody, and they're all here for the same purpose. We all get along good. We actually work to get along good. We're in fairly close quarters with these coach parks. And but when you start joining these clubs like golfing or pickleball, etc., you start to get to know the people, and because there's only 419 spots in this particular park, you get to know them fairly quickly, and you see them on the street, and we talk on the street, and it's just a great time to be here. And so when we're here for 5 months, the shopping close by is all the box stores and every restaurant imaginable, and everything is right here within 5 to 10 minutes of where we're staying. And yet there's very little to no traffic noise here at all, because the park here is an inner city park, but you don't really hear traffic here, and we just couldn't be happier. I think the biggest draw, we had rented actually in several parks prior to us coming here at ORI, and I think the thing that attracted us the most was its size. Some of these coach parks can get fairly large, which produces a lot of interior traffic, quite a bit of noise, lots of vendors and landscaping noises and things like that. But because this park is a little bit smaller, again, only 419 spots, you don't have any of that. You still do have vendors come in, and you do still hear lawnmower equipment at certain times of the day and that sort of thing, but you don't have this buzz of traffic inside the park. And then along with the greenery and the flowers and all of those things, that's what really attracted us as we drove into the park. My wife said, before we even spoke to anybody, this is the place for us. And we have not been disappointed whatsoever with that decision. So we're happy as can be here. Well, this particular lot, it's surrounded by privacy hedges, ficus type hedges. The park has a rule that they can't be any higher than 12 feet high, which is fine with me. Our neighbors on either side of us, I mean, we talk to them each day. I've actually had to increase the beer budget here because of the camaraderie that we seem to enjoy. This particular lot is a standard size lot, and there are other lots that are bigger and some that are bigger again. Most of the lots are all divided into two parts. There's the perimeter lots, they're called, and then there's the interior lots. And all of the interior lots, of course, back onto the golf course throughout the entire park. The perimeter lots, they all back around on a wall, the exterior wall. So it's actually a walled park. The whole park is within a wall, and it keeps a lot of the traffic noise outside of the walls. And of course, it really helps with security around here and these kinds of things. The whole park is walled, and then there's a gated entrance into the park with security there 7 days a week, 24/7. When we were doing our research of what park we wanted to stay in for 5 months of a year, just to get out of that Alberta, Canada climate in the wintertime, we had actually rented a couple of years prior to that in different parks. And when we rolled into this park, we were so taken with its size. And I think the size was the thing that sold us the most. Not to mention that as soon as you drive into the park, it's very, very beautiful here. Lots of greenery, lots of trees and plants and flowers and all sorts of stuff. Very, very well manicured golf course. But the selection didn't go much further than that, but now it was up to us to select a lot within the park that was for sale. And so we decided we wanted to buy in this park. We had exhausted this research to death, and when we rolled in here, the research quit because my wife said, "This is where I want to be." As soon as we drove into the driveway, we hadn't even spoken to anybody, and it was just the landscaping and the seems to be the friendliness and everything of everybody from the front office all the way to everybody we met on the street. Everybody was so helpful and inviting. So that's why we chose this place. And to choose a lot, well, we could only choose a lot that was for sale. There were several for sale, and so we chose one on the golf course. It wasn't a great deal more money than a perimeter lot, but we get all the scenery and when we're not golfing. And of course, when we're golfing in this particular park, I'm actually on hole number 7 here, the tee box for hole number 7. And anytime we want, we just get out and away we go. We just tee off right here and then do 18 and end up at 6. And then walk across the street and we're back home again. And then, of course, that's where the beer budget had to be increased because of my neighbors. They all golf with us, all together, and so we always have to partake of some of that stuff, which Canadians generally don't do, as we all know. We don't generally drink too much beer. And, of course, the guy next door will disagree with that. But anyway, we just have lots and lots of fun as far as shopping goes. So we chose our lot. We go to the Costco store and the Walmart and the Home Depot and every restaurant known to mankind. We've got an outdoor kitchen here, and we cook a lot outside here. And there just doesn't seem to be any day of the week where there isn't a 5 o'clock going on somewhere. And we're invited to all of them because everybody knows everybody. And the outdoor kitchens are all cooking, and it's almost like a block party around here almost every night. You know, sometimes we think we have to go back to Canada at the end of our stay just to dry out and get on a diet and get back to some reality. We just have a lovely time. But the whole point about the coach is that it truly is not so much a camping trip for a couple of weeks or for a weekend or a school break or anything like that, but rather it's kind of a way of life. These coaches these days, we happen to have a 45 footer, but these coaches these days, they have washer and dryer and microwave and vacuum flow and 4 televisions. Of course, we all know that every coach needs 4 televisions, and we just have all the comforts of home. And if we want to, pull in the slides and pull up the jacks, we're quite free to go anywhere in pretty much North America and try a different place or go on an adventure, which we do sometimes, not so much with the coach, but with the vehicle. And we go see stuff, and we just have a ball here. And so anyway, for 5 months a year, this is our home. We're not on vacation here. We actually live here. And of course, the coach that we have, it facilitates all of that stuff. We don't have to worry about laundry or dry cleaners or any of that stuff. We have that all on board. And then of course, where we are, we have all the services here, such as the box stores and banking and dry cleaning and all that kind of stuff. We just, every day is we get up out of bed, we sit in the sunshine, we drink a cup of coffee. My wife gets after me about something almost every morning, like a lot of wives do, and I say yes dear, and we just have a ball. And it's just a great 5 months of the year. When people are contemplating, especially coming off the workforce and into retirement, and they want to do some adventurous things, the kids are gone, their lives, they're busy, they're working, and they can't come see Grandma and Granddad all the time. And Grandma and Granddad are sitting there sometimes saying, what are we doing here? And so that's kind of what happened to us. And they have busy lives, they work, and they have families of their own, and we try to get together as much as we can. But with them working and their kids are in various things such as dance and hockey and baseball and all these things, their lives are busy, and they can't seem to spend as much time with Grandma and Granddad as when they were young. We realize that, we understand that, and these days with FaceTime and Skype and all of these things, we visit with them all the time, but they're just not with us, that's all. So I just can't say enough about how much that we enjoy this kind of coach life. And of course, because we are Canadians, we can only stay here for a certain length of time. The rule is 182 days, but we don't generally stay that long. But we generally stay about 150 days, and we get here about maybe about the 4th or 5th of November, and that's when winter kind of starts up in Canada there. And that Canadian winter in Western Canada truly sucks, and it especially sucks for seniors. And down here, there's no slippery roads, there's no ice, there's no snow, it's just a wonderful time. And even when it's cold here, it's warm. So we just love it. We can't say enough about Southern California, about the park that we're in, about the coach we finally selected, about actually even the dealer that sold us the coach. They up in Bend there, Oregon, they have big shops, and they will tackle your chassis. They'll tackle the coach works, of course. They have qualified people there. I think they do tires and brakes and service your chassis and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think they do things like tearing transmissions or engines apart. Although I have spoken to some people where they have had some engine work done at Beaver Coach in Bend. And of course, this is absolutely not an advertisement for Beaver Coach, but we ourselves were treated very well. We were able to beat up on them a little bit on the price. They were very accommodating. Of course, we had to import our unit. We actually had to export our unit out of the United States and then subsequently go up the road about 1,000 yards and import it into Canada. And Beaver Coach was as helpful as they could be with that process, and it was actually very slick. And so the coach, so in summary, the coach that we selected, the dealer we bought it from, the park that we selected to stay in, all worked out for us. And if we could only get that Canadian dollar to match up the US dollar, it wouldn't be quite as hard on us, but that's something nobody can really do much about. So anyway, so there we are.